Hello and welcome to the show. We are live from our studios here in Kokomlemle on digital address GA0992539. Our lead stories this hour. Volta Region Police continue search for more perpetrators of last Friday's revolt, which resulted in the death of one person and injuries to 3 others. We are live on the ground. And minority in Parliament says the Audit Service has breached the law establishing Auditor General's office by not submitting its 2019 report to Parliament 6 months after the year ended. Details coming up shortly. And an Accra High Court orders doctors said to be treating Asin Central MP Kennedy Japan, who is said to have contracted COVID-19, to appear in court to explain why the legislator could not show up. Also coming up, a grand opening of the integrated composting and recycle plant in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi. We bring you a live coverage of that event at which Otumfuo Seitu II and President Akufo-Addo will be present. Join us on DSTV 421, GoTV 144. Remember, we're streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook. You can also join us with your thoughts on those platforms. I am Gifty Ando Apia. This is The Pulse. Please be my guest. We begin from the court. An Accra High Court has ordered that a doctor said to be treating Asin Central MP Kennedy Japan appears in court to explain the legislator's condition. This was after the court had to put the contempt case against the MP on hold, following his lawyers saying he's suffering from post-COVID-19 complications. Court correspondent Joseph Akable reports.
The MP's lawyers are seeking to ensure he escapes a custodial sentence or a fine for some comments he made regarding a judge. The video recording of his comments was played in court on Friday, with his lawyers asked to speak to it on Monday. But lead counsel Kwame Jan on Monday said the MP was suffering from post-COVID-19 complications. Afenyo Markin, who is part of the team, says there should be no speculations regarding the MP's situation.
We have had a healthy engagement and we would want to maintain that. At the end of the day, it is one country we have and the rule of law is all we need to guide everything. We'll come back on the day the court has agreed that we come. But everything is fine and there should be no trouble or unnecessary speculation. The court must be respected. The honorable member of parliament must also be respected. Partisan politics cannot be the solution in a legal matter, or that an attempt to create a partisan situation around a matter that the court is dealing with will not help. That is why all of us are conducting ourselves in a manner that would ensure that the right things are done.
The court has ordered that a doctor treating the MP appears before it on Thursday, October 1, to explain what exactly is wrong with the MP.
Now, the Right to Information Coalition has criticized the NDC and NPP for not making enough commitment to ensure proper implementation of the RTI law in their manifestos ahead of the 2020 general elections. Speaking at a news conference in Accra today to mark the International Day for Universal Access to Information, the coalition said they can only confirm 11% compliance to requests for information made to public institutions. According to the coalition, it will call out institutions that are not complying with the law. My colleague Kwekwa Sante has more in this report.
The Right to Information Coalition has criticized the NPP and NDC for not making enough commitment to ensure proper implementation of the RTI law in their manifestos ahead of the 2020 general election. Speaking at a news conference in Accra today to mark the International Day for Universal Access to Information, the coalition said the NDC's manifesto on the RTI was disappointing and inadequate.
More disappointing is the nearly absent indications in the manifesto of the Opposition National Democratic Congress, NDC, on the issue of RTI, and that the section titled Freedom of the Media. In their manifesto, they provide a one-liner that reads, "Continue the implementation of the Right to Information Act 2019. That's what is there. Not only is this an inadequate indication of what they commit to do on RTI if they are voted into office, they also continue in the erroneous impression that the RTI law is all about the media.
It added that the ruling NPP's promise regarding the RTI assumed that everything was already going on well with the implementation of the law.
The ruling New Patriotic Party is promising to provide resources for the Right to Information Commission to operationalize effectively the Right to Information law, explaining that over the next 4 years, we will improve the financing of governance and anti-corruption MDAs as we have done over the last few years to enable them recruit, continue to train and retain dedicated staff to support the fight against corruption and provide resources for the effective functioning of the Right to Information Commission. This sounds like the commission has already been set up. And correct me if I'm right, if I'm wrong, but I do not think I know or have heard of that. The challenge with this promise is that it is presented as though an RTI commission already exists and that everything seems to be going on fine with the implementation of the law. As for the political party that forms the current government, they should be aware that this is not true and should be seen to be proposing solutions to whatever challenges the government is currently having with the implementation process, including the issues that have stalled the setting up of the RTI Commission and its board members.
According to the RTI Coalition, they can only confirm 11% compliance to requests for information made to public institutions in Accra and Kumasi.
You are very well aware of some of the classic cases of denial of access to information by some public institutions this year, including the case of the Electoral Commission working hard to deny a member of parliament access to some information even after a ruling by the High Court. We have also recently experienced the very wrong understanding of provisions of the Act by the National Communications Authority, NCA, in its response to the request for information by the Media Foundation for West Africa, which made the NCA announce an exorbitant fee to process Media Foundation's request for information, contrary to the spirit of the RTI law. Unfortunately, these are not isolated cases. As an exercise commissioned by our coalition towards assessing information from 18 public institutions in Accra and Kumasi between June and August this year showed a disappointing 11% compliance.
The coalition says it will call out state institutions that are not complying with the law.
The coalition will also continue with the request for information exercise to monitor institutions' compliance with obligations under the Act. The exercise will culminate into a Hall of Fame or Shame activity. So what we want to do is we will just collate all the agencies that we will request information from, and periodically we will publish those who are compliant. Those who are not, we will also publish for all Ghanaians to know the institutions that are respecting the Right to Information law and those that are not respecting the law.
And it's 70 days to the election. The presidential candidate of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, has resumed his tour of the Bono region. He will meet with chiefs, farmers, Okada drivers, religious and community leaders, among others, and highlight issues in the People's Manifesto. That's the NDC's 2020 manifesto, which addresses the specific needs of the Bono region. That's the part that addresses this region. Last Tuesday, Mr. Mahama and his running mate, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, suspended their tours of the Bono and Central regions, respectively, following some challenges that emerged with the Electoral Commission's provisional voters register. Upon his arrival in the region, the NDC presidential candidate was welcomed by excited supporters of the party at Kato near Brekum in the Brekum East constituency.
2016 mama catches Akufo-Addo ye nipa bia ne timu aden mama ento abama ne ne to abama no nti mama ne buoni kan ye mesusha mama o meti yen komo tie yesika nyina ase ye ntimi nya aduma ye nkọ kwan so ye bibi enyenye minyu abama brekum enne Monday anopa wa minyu abama we enye yefuniade o eye ni yade bisi da Akufo-Addo ankasa pa on challenge no mbra next week ba omi aba ha bia ni nachi ba ke so anaju no bia no na bia na bia so kwa anya ma twedom minyu abama mama fa
Precious Semi-Voice, our correspondent, is also he's joined the team, or the campaign team of Mr. Mahama, and he's joining me on the phone with more. Hello, Precious. Precious, hopefully, yes, you do hear me now. Tell us, what has Mr. Mahama been doing? I mean, which areas has he been so far, and which are the people he's been meeting?
So, Mr. Mahama has been to Sekwa. That was his first point. Although passing through Kato in the Bekum municipality, he was welcomed by thousands of NDC supporters for the fact that he truncated his tour and had to return to the region. But he started from Serkwa in the Tyne constituency. After there, he moved on to Bekum, where he met the traditional authorities in the Bekum traditional area. From there, he moved to Magazine in Sunyani, and also in Bekum, and then to Biadan. And then currently we are at Senase, also within the Bekum municipality, where he's been addressing the chiefs and then the people. And mainly he's been talking about issue concerning cashew production, adding value to the cashew production, and also the Okada business, which is a serious issue in Bekum here. Now, he's been telling the people that they will have measures to control the activities of Okada, and even have some seed money for those who want to go into the Okada business, where they will be involved in the high purchase. They buy, work, and then pay later. I must say that he's enjoying lots of funds, almost every community that we've been to. So currently at Senate, we just arrived here, and he's just about addressing the chiefs and people of Senate. From here, the other areas that we'll be moving to, we'll be going to Dinejini, also in Bekum, in the Bekum West constituency. From there, we go to Doma East, where he will be at Wamanafo, and then Wenfie, to conclude his activities for day one of his tour in the Bono region.
Let's focus a bit more on the message. What kind of message is he giving the people? We know that the NDC has talked about legalizing Okada, for example, and you've indicated that has been part of the message he's been giving the people. But what else has he talked about as far as what's in the manifesto and how related it is to this region is concerned?
Well, so he's telling them that the Okada business, for instance, if you come into government, it is not about you doing what you want. It is about doing what the populace crave for. And then he is saying that though the business is illegal, but it is thriving. So it only makes sense for the government to, or his government in their manifesto, to streamline it, roll out some measures to ensure that operators of this Okada business and the other ones, the Prajia and the Mahama Kambuas, he himself put it, will be working within a certain framework to control their activities. And he seems to be enjoying lots of support within the Bekum municipality. But that aside, he's also been, he said to Ghanaians that Ghanaians now are too wise, to fall for the many unfulfilled promises of the NPP, government. He added that many of the thought patterns ongoing currently is without funding source. They were not captured in the budget of the government. So he's been wondering where government is going to get money to fund that project, describing it as just to deceive the people to win their vote. So Mr. Mahama has been explaining some of these to the people, and particularly he's also been sharing the message on, as I said earlier, the cashew production. He believes that the cashew business in the Bono region is a serious business. People produce and they get so much less from it. And he believes that they will be coming up with 2 factories, one in the Bono region, one in the Bono East, to add value to it, the processing, and all these will be done by the cashew board that his administration will be setting up. And he believes that when all these things are put in place, the cashew business will come out with a different mode, and the benefit of it for the cashew farmers themselves. And he encouraged a lot of them to acquire more land and go into cashew business, because from January, where hopefully he takes over, all these things will be rolled out and they will be successful cashew farmers.
Precious, I'd like to thank you a lot for those details. Precious Semevo is with Mr. Mahama's team that's in the Bono region, and we'll be keeping touch and base with him to bring you more as we go along. Now, 15 districts in the Ashanti region will benefit from the One District, One Hospital project. President Akufo-Addo reiterated the need for quality healthcare delivery to be extended to the very vulnerable in the country. Dubbed the Agenda 111, in all, 111 hospitals will be built, with the Ashanti region getting 15 of them. Speaking at a Deba held at the Meshia Palace today, the president revealed this project is scheduled to be done within 12 months. He said this during his 3-day tour of the Ashanti region. Live FM's Prince Apia is with the team and is joining me on Zoom. Hello, Prince.
Hello, BBC.
Prince, let's talk a bit more about this these hospitals. 12 months. Did he announce whether the money is ready and available?
Yeah, he didn't give details of how that is going to happen. He didn't give details as to which area they are getting the funding from, but all that he said was that it is very important in this time, especially looking at the COVID-19 and how it exposed our health sector and our healthcare delivery. So it is very important that every district in the country gets a district health hospital very much equipped, and that this is going to happen in 12 months. And he updates the Agenda 111, which means 111 districts across the country are going to benefit from this project.
Well, there's still a little bit of an interruption by the speaker at the function at the moment, so I will make it very brief. But Prince, give us an update on the campaign or the president's visit to the area generally, so we can let you go because of the interruption we're having in the background. Prince.
Okay, so currently we are at the factory, the Tanoso factory of the Casapreco Company Limited. That's the new factory, part of the One District, One Factory initiative by the Akufo-Addo government. And what is happening currently is that before this place, the president went to Afari, where the military government hospital is being constructed, and inspected that area. He also went to the Kumasi Airport, Kumasi International Airport, which is doing some expansion over there. He went there to inspect it. And he went to the UNIJ government factory, which is also part of the One District, One Factory initiative. So, and that is what the president has been doing currently. And from here, there will be another place the government is going, the president is going to move to. But as I speak to you now, the MD of the Casapreco Company Limited, for instance, has said that this particular One District, One Factory, this factory that has been established here at Tanoso is going to serve Burkina Faso and other neighboring countries, because they are going to export some of the products they are going to produce from this side.
Well, Prince, I'll let you go for now because of the interruption we're having. We'll get a subsequent comprehensive report from Prince Apia in Kumasi. Now, if you are a first-time voter, what would make you want to vote for the NPP or the NDC? Let's go to the Volta Region, where correspondent Peter Seno has been interacting with some first-time voters ahead of the election, which is, by the way, 70 days away.
To vote December 7th?
Yes.
Sure. Okay, you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So all of us are voting?
Yes, sir.
You too?
Yeah, I'm really
Mary?
Vote.
You vote?
Yeah, vote, sure. Yes, vote.
Now, the bigger question is, what will influence your decision to come out to vote on December 7th? What policies are of interest to you in Ghana? Let's take it from you.
As for me, here lies the case. I'm a student. Oh, I will vote because of the free education. Because the free education is helping. So I have to vote for the free education to move on.
I'll vote for the previous government to come back and continue their good work, because we've seen it not to be like, yeah, that's it. I want them to come back because according to the manifesto, the legalization of the Okada and many more, let me say many more. Because
okay, you have just mentioned the legalization of the Okada. What specific interest is of that to you? What would you say is unique about the legalization of the Okada to you?
You know, let me say there's no work. If you are not to any level of education, you won't be picked to work. So I think the Okada will give us some petty monies to like do what you want to do. So I think it's good if the previous government is back.
I can say that NDC manifesto is very, very interesting.
What is interesting about the NDC manifesto?
The NDC government has already implemented that their free education will also be coming up. And I can see that they can implement it. And it's a good idea he has brought up.
The free education, the one district, one dam, everything about MPP, I like it. And to adapt to what my brother is saying, he just completed SHS, so he wants to move on. That's why we vote for NDC. And if we didn't bring the free SHS, will you be able to finish that one? So what we started, don't say you come and end it. We started it. And if it's good, we now will end it. The MPP government are trying everything possible to make sure that they will fulfill their promises. And then looking at the past government, you see when you don't do some things right, and then you go out of power, and then you want to come back, your manifesto should be like something scary or something that when someone hears, no, this man is coming back to do something better. But if you tell me that you legalize Okada, it's still going on. Even if you don't legalize it, it is still going on.
But it is illegal.
It is illegal. And see the accident it is causing.
But they said they will legalize and regulate.
So that means they will create their own ways, or will they let them ride on the same motorway?
Well, we will leave that to them when they come to power. Maybe we'll see how they implement it.
We can't leave that to them, that they should come to power, and then when we are dying, now they should think of that before even trying to say that, okay, these are the rules and regulations, so we'll pass here and do this. Okay, we'll find a way for them.
What do you think is wrong with that policy? What do you think is wrong with it?
Everything is wrong.
I'll really go out on the 7th December to vote for His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, because I'm really enjoying the free education and I'm informed too. My junior sisters all are also enjoying it, although they are also doing our network roads, such as the Eastern Corridor roads, and very soon we'll be enjoying the new factory as the ginger factory. But
do we have a ginger factory in KJV?
But actually, they are still implementing to bring it.
I vote for Mama. I vote and say on Saba back, because ye juma na nko ye nko suye na yeso pese ye juma na so Enye juma biaye. Ntina na yeso ye me pese me vote na ono so nyede on back.
All is about the free education. I've been in school since 2015. Yeah, but my junior sisters are in SS now because of the free education. I'm fully support of MPP. That's the reason.
I may say because of the free education. Although I completed my education last year, I'm not among the free education, but because of the other people, some people, they don't have financial problems and things. So maybe the free education will help them gain something in future. That's all.
Because of the free education, I enjoyed the free education during my time. My mom was not like able to give me this thing, to make me educate. But the free education, I wrote my BC and then like the free education, so I went to school. My junior brother just completed his JSS. He will be going to school again, no money. But the free education will help him throughout this thing.
Using 3 years and some months now, we didn't see anything.
What? Anything like what?
We didn't see things like one district, one dam, one factory, those things. We didn't see. The only thing they will tell you is free education, and free education is not free because I sew my own uniform, I feed myself, so it's not free. I think.
No, but they were providing meals free, one hot meal for students.
It is not enough because I can't take that and be in class still feeling hungry, you understand? So I think what they are saying, they are not on point. We want the NDC to come back and do the good work for us.
Right.
The president on seat now has made the promises, and yet still don't see anything.
Promises like what? Let's be specific.
The one district, one factory. The free education, he has already implemented that one, so we are into it. But the promises he has made, we don't see anything. So we need our previous president back.
If you enter someone's house and then the person has a dog and then he has chained the dog and then the dog is barking, if you are not a thief, you won't be afraid. Because you know when the person comes out and you see and they say, oh, it's my brother who came in. But if you are a thief, you'll be afraid of the dog.
What exactly do you mean by that?
I mean that if soldiers are deployed here and you are not thinking of doing bad or you won't do bad, why will you be afraid of them? You are just going out to vote. Go and vote. When it's time, go and register. You are going to register. If soldiers are around, I'm not going to do bad and I'm just going to vote. What will they do to me? So if I'm not taking bad, then I see soldier and I'm running. To where? The police is my friend. The soldier is my friend. They are here to protect us, you see, as citizens. So, you see, so they shouldn't say that because soldiers are here, so it is intimidation, it is blah, blah, blah. Just go out and vote. Join your queue. When it's your turn, you go and vote.
What do you make of the political atmosphere?
I think my brother Anas is not being sincere because for the first time of the registration that I've seen, I've never experienced things like this. So I think the current government is not doing well because...
What did you see during the registration?
I see soldiers being around here and there, manhandling people. So I think it's not good. It's not good, to be frank. It's not good because we've experienced so many times of registration, and it is not in a way like this. So what my brother is saying, if you are not a thief or something like that, I think he's not being true to himself.
Going into December 7, what do you want to see in terms of the political atmosphere?
I want to let people know that if this is what happened during the registration, then people should prepare because during the election there will be riot because we've never seen this before. Common registration, then you bring soldiers. I think is very bad.
But what do you want to see? What changes do you want to see made to this deployment and then the political atmosphere?
What I would say is we have to control ourselves because we know what we are going out for on the 7th of December. So we will go and vote them out for that not to happen again. Because looking at the previous government, things didn't go like this. So I think the government is not doing well. So they must be changed.
Just like that?
Oh, just like that. Mahama must come. Mahama must come. And they know it. They know it themselves. So like, they just be like, let's just talk. They are just talking for talking sake. They know it. Mahama is winning. And Mahama on the 7th, let's take it before the 72 hours time, Mahama will be declared as the winner.
I see soldiers around for them to protect we the individual, not to come here to manhandle us.
All right. So what do you have to say finally before we go?
To me, the bringing of the soldiers is okay for me, because during the registration, people can fight, because like I was here before he came and joined the queue, so I'll try to push him, and then like the fight will happen. And then so that's the reason why he brought the soldiers. I don't see anything bad.
But that one was just registration.
Actually, the registration, bringing of the soldiers is okay for me.
So those were the views of some first-time voters here in the KJB district of the Volta region. You have heard them right. We can only wish them all the best as they prepare to go and cast their vote for the first time to make a change in Ghana's politics. From KJB here in the Volta region, my name is Peter Sanu for JoyNews.
Peter Seno there. You're still on your election headquarters. Now, leadership of the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference is encouraging the Ghanaians to use their vote as a defense mechanism for the country. The conference believes casting ballots without the material and other influence will help to choose political leaders who have the interests of the country at heart. President of the conference, Most Reverend Philip Name, made these remarks at the 50th anniversary of the Noble Order of the Ladies of Marshall. And there is more in this report.
Of the Noble of Order of the Knights of Marshall of the Catholic Church, whose motto is unity, charity, fraternity and service. Less than 3 months to the election, leadership reiterates the need for Christian values and service be fostered into our national politics. In a speech read on his behalf, President of the Catholic Bishops' Conference, Most Reverend Philip Name, encouraged Christians to partake in political discussions to influence positive change.
Vote according to your conscience, without allowing yourself to be dictated to by anyone or be influenced by threats, bribes, self-interest, etc. Use your votes for the good of Ghana and choose leaders who are courageous in defending truth and justice for all. The values of the gospel, truth, love, justice, and life, as well as Christian service, are to be fostered in our national politics. We urge you to take the political, social, economic, and moral implications of faith seriously and not treat them with apathy, indifference, and nonchalance. Political engagement is a worthy Christian task, and public office is an honorable Christian vocation.
He spoke at the 50 years anniversary celebrations of the Noble Order of the Ladies of Marshall under the theme 50 years of the Ladies of Marshall in Christian Service, the way forward. Most Royal Sister Dame Dr. Agatha Ikuaboni is Grand Lady of the group.
The youth should not make themselves be used as elements or way to bring about any discomfort. So don't let them use you in any way to cause any mischievous action. Your life is more important. Your parents need you. Your country needs you. So that together, if we can do all these things, we'll bring peace to Ghana.
The ladies of...
Today on Volta's Voice, we take you to the Sherman Market, where traders complain of a huge decline in sales, as they put it, under the Akufo-Addo administration. They claim business was thriving under the Eswal Mahama administration. The market women say they will vote for the NDC and John Mahama in the upcoming polls. We've been speaking to some of them.
Me tanu around about a plow station. I'm a better honey, be a better schedule. They thought they are young. And we pay your coin ever for our station hall. We be fabric tintin soup, better station our bread. To comfort to me in Baho. And to me, party, I come pay the same or do for Subra. Yes, the same. Yes, the same. Yes, the same. Maba, Minye. Me to adi wa shama market. First year to adi omutoma ye pa. Utumi ko fan to si ba. Aso na di be chi die. Ana di be san de obeto de obenya. Na so se aye nto ade. We ko oba unye hwe ma ye. Obeka se oba obeba be ye bibi ma ye. Na so oba unye hwe ma ye. De adi si ye ye ti o sa na ye da. Iti de wa na ya ba na ye tu no. Iti mi de fimi nko ade aka ye sisem mu. Na ye hu ya oba no no so de obeba be ye ma. Ono so ba na wa nye hwe a. Ono so ye be yi nu. Ti ye sisem. Yes, some of you yes, some me vote to me vote ba fi we me vote pa me si some me vote ba fi we ma me bibia me be vote me si some ama for nana yes same ya koye ni ma na ya koye ti it is aba na ya tu no ye pese vegina one real ya koye ni ma some na me kan ya na kwalo ya pe fufu ya pe dada ya koye nim yento ade so o meska so block krom ya yento ade bank na ya tutum no yempe bia bank bia na obi anya adwuma afanko gu bank na ni sika anya ni sika ntina nado sa ade na ofa ne de o twam na yento aba no fine ya mani ba fofo ya so ya beto ama no wa bia bank ni na mai yes some
Adibakuni say, me wanana sis. Amunya mu kwasukunti munyina anyinyim sese ni agumiso. Enti nanadia, media mempe. Wamu kwasukwa mu trafie sa amu anyinyim. Enti mebre wa we na ma bresa. Enti nanadia no way. Mrs. Samwa apampa no mpese make it debut. Debia mi kwachi ma wi ansu eto menina mu awi ebo a menina mu nti me pede obeba beboa me na me house nti me sesam ana boa ya pa wa ma ye nyanso free ya ma ko school free obi antuma nana o muntuma nana former for nana na eko nana Akufo-Addo na eko muntuma no muntuma papa muntuma
I am Montoma nana na eko baumia na eko why na mpa de pa yepe MPP fo nyina ye ni papa
ushi abrabore din ye fita for ebre okada ye aduma kura enko ye oboa obe free so no for more oboa
for more to do more nana na eko yes same nana for more
me pese obia vote ma papa no in fact ni oye no every adwini into aseso ye ma ako school free obia mo vote ma no for more nana
na beto ama school free water wa dey ama free light free and one na beto ama no yes samu ni na no omunim na muka ye bra free education muka na enya adwuma ye ma no ma betina via ye bi mo anyinyim ye tunu mam na kasa no wa hwadi ma wie o ye bra wa hwadi me wa body bra ye afi de ye susu na say ye hunya maso nti ye ba sisanu ye tunu afisu
Your mama was no first, no, yes, enye. Ekra no enda Akufo-Addo ba ye no. Wa say am ye kra ya blabo nya embasa. Enti ye so ye ba so a. Mami fo no mo ka so mo sesam ne de. O ma ya brewa wie. Ye no afi ya wo. Ye ma abekọ school. Enya free education na abno ba say ya aju. Ye tiaska e ma ye ma. Enti ye so office ma ye ho to ye. Light free now, muso mama no. Uko top light no po enye free ni sao. Unsuo ni keke na yenya. Besa light where the water it is enye free kura. Into onja na Muhammad mbra na yeshe. Into onsi se Muhammad ba na yashe.
Welcome back to the show and many thanks for staying with us. Now, JoyNews is learning of an alleged police raid in the North Tong constituency, precisely Mepe, Bato and Aveime, all in the Volta region. The raid, which we understand from our sources, is to find persons believed to be involved in last Friday's revolt, which involved blocking of roads leading to the region laying siege to a police station. Police officers were injured and some items from the police station, including rifles, were stolen. The group Western Togoland Restoration Front explained their action is to demand a split from Ghana. A member of the group was killed following a gun exchange with the police. Already, chiefs and people of Bi, Hohoi, Alavanyo and Anglo traditional areas have jointly condemned Friday's civil disturbance in the region. The chiefs who have dissociated themselves from the incidents are also urging the security agencies within the country and government to deal ruthlessly with persons involved. We also understand that the District Assembly office has been closed down. Here are some visuals from the place.
Each year, we also have what we call the Telnet. The internet facility, the Wi-Fi for MTN was also here together with the charger. The booster, the charger is there, they took the booster to take it away. This is my colleague at the office. Document, contact document taken away. The quotes and this, the portals are broken down. You can see the glass on the floor. This is the treasure door. You can really see the extent of damage to the drawers. You pull the drawers. So this is what you have at the reception. Then we can move to the other side of it. Yes, this is I'm Richard Panesta from the DC for North Town. For the past 3 days, have not been very fruitful day for us. Friday dawn, our office was invaded by people who are alleged to this Western Togoland. They broke into our offices and make away computers, printers, and a whole lot of stuff, with fridges from the office. And that's not the end of the story. We went to some of the security installations, Bepe police station, and they made away with arms. We get to Aveime police station, made away, break into the armory and take a lot of arms from there. All the arms we have by them. The custody was taken over. When they entered the office here, our pickup was already taken over. They seized our pickup, that's what the pickup they used for the operation. And the police pickup also seized for their operations. So far, that's what we are. And this one reported to the national security. The security personnel are solid on the ground and they're bringing all the intelligence, gathering all the intelligence to really apprehend these perpetrators of these criminal crimes. And I believe in the shortest possible time, we'll be hearing from us as the days unfold, as the necessary step that we are taking as a district to ensure that people have their livelihood, that people have a free movement without any restriction. And I believe that's the best we can do. And as that's the said, and they're solid on the ground.
Meanwhile, a security expert is rubbishing government's claims that the incident was not an intelligence failure. His comment comes after some government officials denied those claims. Colonel Festus Abuaje, however, says there was an intelligence failure. He spoke on Prime Morning on the Joy Prime channel.
The definition of certain terms of art, depending on what area of discipline one is talking about, is not the reserve or preserve of politicians. In intelligence work, an intelligence failure is when, as a result of a number of factors, the intelligence actors are not able to foresee and prevent an event, let's say, by an enemy or any incident that is injurious to the interest of the state, the government, the security forces, and so on. It includes, as a critical example, when you are surprised. In other words, you wake up and you realize that something has happened that you should have known or could have known but couldn't do that. So yesterday I was forced to place on my Facebook post definition of intelligence failure. By that definition, there was a clear intelligence failure. Now, what we cannot determine is at what stage in the cycle, which is about 6 or 7 steps, that the authorities failed to detect that a certain group, whether it was the Homeland Study Foundation or some other group, was preparing to carry out activities that actually are injurious to the sovereignty of this nation. So I would agree with anybody who argues that there was an intelligence failure in very clear terms, and there shouldn't be any ambiguities about.
Colonel Festus Abuaje is a security expert. In a related development, Member of Parliament for Ekrapim South and Deputy Local Government Minister Obi Amwa has revealed that the group is affiliated to an international body, the Unrepresented Nations and Peoples Organization or UNPO. Here is a short news desk report on this organization.
According to information available on its website, the Unrepresented Nations and Peoples Organization, or UNPO, is an international membership-based organization established to empower the voices of unrepresented and marginalized peoples worldwide and to protect their fundamental human rights. It was conceived in the late 1980s by exiled leaders of people living under communist oppression and formally founded in February 1991 at the Peace Palace in The Hague by representatives of movements belonging to Australian Aboriginals, the Greek minority in Albania, Tibet, Zanzibar, among others. The UNPO says its members are all united by one shared condition. They are denied equal representation in the institutions of national or international governance. The UNPO is primarily funded by its members and says as a result, it is able to address issues that often remain hidden because UNPO has the freedom to raise issues that others cannot due to political or funding constraints. It claims its membership has grown steadily from its original founders to over 300 million people lacking true representation in domestic or international forums. It further adds that since its founding, many members have achieved their movement's goals and found a formal seat for their people at the national or international level and have thus left the organization as their peoples are no longer considered to be unrepresented.
JoyNews editor Arba comes in with that report. Now we can hear from 3 chiefs in the Volta region condemning the revolt on Friday.
Some armed men were reported to have attacked the Aveime and Mepe police stations in the North Thorn district of the Volta region on Friday dawn. The armed men attacked both stations simultaneously, overpowered the police officers, freed inmates, broke into the armories and stole firearms. They physically assaulted, shot and injured police officers. They also held some officers hostage and seized vehicles belonging to the Ghana Police Service and the North Thorn District Assembly. Roadblocks were mounted at Tefle on the Accra-Sugakope Aplau Highway and at Dropon on the Accra-Ho Highway. The Western Togoland Restoration Front, in a press statement, claimed ownership for the disturbances, indicating it was to assert their sovereignty over the Western Togoland territory. The officers held hostage were, however, rescued by a joint police-military enforcement team, while the vehicles were retrieved by the formed police unit. Nonetheless, some traditional authorities in the Volta region have condemned the resurgence and disassociated themselves from it. The chief of B. Abansi, Togbe Ajiman V, described the incidents as unfortunate and a threat to Ghana's peace and democracy.
We, the chiefs, elders, and the entire citizenry, with our French settler communities within the Gbin traditional area, condemn in no uncertain terms the activities of this group. We do not condone this act of illegality and vandalism being perpetrated by this group. We, the chiefs, elders, and the people of Gbin are Voltarians and Ghanaians, and for that matter, owe allegiance to no foreign power than the government of Ghana. It is an undeniable fact that Gbin since independence, had been part of the Volta region of Ghana, and we have lived in peace and harmony with other regions of Ghana ever since. It is therefore unfortunate and unacceptable for a group of people with their selfish agenda to destabilize the peace and harmony prevailing in Gbin and for that matter Volta region and Ghana at this crucial moment that we are about going to the polls, when the whole world is looking up to us as the epicenter of democratic governance in Africa. We also call on government and the security agencies to tighten up their security networks to be in a position to prevent this group of people from entering our traditional area. We, the chiefs and elders, are ready to lend our support to the security agencies in their fight against this group. We want to advise the group also to stay off Gbin because we do not belong to their movement. And for that matter, we resist fearlessly any attempt to invade our traditional area as custodians of the land.
The paramount chief of Alavanyu, Togbegan Cheje Atakra VII, indicated his traditional area has no connection with the group.
I want to make it crystal clear that Alavanyu and its people have nothing doing with the Western Togoland secession group. Alavanyu has suffered a lot from destabilization due to conflict with its neighbor. It is therefore glaring that there is seemingly some silence and peace in the area, and the chiefs and people are working hard towards attaining and maintaining lasting solution and restoration to the peace to the area. What Alavanyu needs at this time is rehabilitation and development of the area, and it is not ready to be embroil itself in another trouble. I want also to express our disappointment in the unwarranted attack on our son, ACP Dennis Fiakwe, an Alavanyu citizen and divisional commander of Ghana Police at Sogankope, who sustained various degrees of wounds in the Western Togoland attack.
The Awamefia of the Anglo State, Togbesui III, also issued a press release to condemn the act and reaffirmed the Anglo State's support for the unity and sanctity of the sovereign state of Ghana. Friday's disturbances resulted in the death of one person while scores were injured. Some 31 suspected members of the group were arrested, flown to Accra and handed over to the Bureau of National Investigations for interrogations. Fred Kwame Asari, JoyNews.
Member of Parliament for the area, Okujeto Ablakwa, has also this reaction.
it makes for worrying observation, and that is the reason some of us insist that there should be a high-scale investigation into this matter, because I've watched some of the videos and the war songs they are chanting and all of that. It's clear that it's not war songs, it's not the kind of event, it's not the tongue event, it's not Anglo event, it's not the event associated to Ghanaians. It sounds more like the Guinea or whatever of the Togo people. And one wonders, who are those out there? The borders are closed. How do they get in? Who's facilitating this? I mean, this is it's looking like a leaf out of a Hollywood movie. And Colonel Professor Tabaji is right that historically you had, people from Togo and other parts of Africa, take part in this whole matter. And we are getting increasingly worried, because if they now have access to weapons, and remember that they've also, in this operation, been able to annex more weapons. They now have a whole cache of arms that they can use to perpetuate other violence. We don't know where they are going next. We must see the state, rise up to the occasion. The national security apparatus must be up and doing. Intelligence cannot continue to fail.
Okudzeto Ablakwa is Member of Parliament for the area, and as security experts have said, the earlier we nipped it in the bud, the better, so other terrorist organizations do not take advantage of this. This is The Pulse with me, Gifty and Dopia. Another quick break, we'll be right back. We'll tell you more about what the minority is saying about the audit service when we return from this break. You're welcome back. Many thanks for staying with us. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has called on the Fulani community to resort to educating their wards by subscribing to government's flagship free SHS policy. Addressing the conference of National Council of Fulani Chiefs at the National Conference held in Kintampo, Dr. Bawumia said, unlike the NDC, which has promised to build mortuaries in Zongo communities, the next MPP government would furnish those Muslim-dominated communities with model schools. Anas Sabit was at the conference and has come through with this report.
Addressing the National Council of Fulani Chiefs at the Council's first ever national conference held in Kintampo in the Bono East region, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia charged the Fulani community to focus on educating their wards by subscribing to government's free senior high school policy.
So many of our children have the brains. And Nana Akufo-Addo said, if by the grace of God he becomes president, he wants us to make education free for all Ghanaians. So today, if you are in a Zongo, if you are a Fulani family or a Wangara family, please, you have no excuse now for your children not going to school. No excuse. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that we should look for education. That even if we have to go to China, but now you don't have to go to China. Nana Akufo-Addo has brought you the education for free in Ghana. It's free.
Dr. Bawumia highlighted efforts taken by the current administration to educate students from deprived communities by establishing senior high schools in 16 Zongo communities across the 16 regions of the country.
One of the things that we also want to do, inshallah, in the area of education, we are going to start something new next year. Every region, we are going to build a model senior high school in a Zongo community. Every region. So we will start with 16 model senior high schools in Zongo communities in every region, so that our children can have an opportunity to attend those schools.
He called on the Fulani community to reject John Mahama's one Zongo, one mortuary promise.
Our policy is not one Zongo, one mortuary. We are not thinking of mortuary. We are thinking of schools, model schools. This year we sent 40 students from Zongo communities to Cuba to study medicine. 40 students. been selected from around the country to Cuba to study medicine. Because we need more doctors, we need more pathologists, and all of that, and not more chiefs.
On his part, National President of the Council of Fulani Chiefs, Alhaji Idris Mohammed Bungle, called on the Fulani community to educate their wards as well as adopt other artisanal skills as a means of ending the farmer-herdsman conflict.
Time has changed. Urbanization, industrialization, and things like that. You name it. So we have to change, the system, because there's a popular saying that when the music changes, the dancing also must change. We have to go to find education, find, artisans' skills, so that if there is no grass now, then we can do some other jobs to earn a living, and then end these conflicts all the time with our friends who are the crop farmers.
He, however, expressed disappointment at the way crimes committed by members of the Fulani community are being generalized.
Crime is a crime. In Ghana here, there are also other criminals who are not Fulanis. But you see, when they commit their crime, you reporters, I don't know if I should blame you or I should blame the police. You come out, try to identify their tribe, which to me is not the best. Because it's not a tribe which is committing that crime. It is the human being. So why don't you just use his name and leave him? Because I don't think anybody has ever mentioned the tribe of Atai as a gun armed robber or some, they say, Ashanti armed robber or Aigbe armed robber. No. But when it comes to Fulani, they are rather interested in just mentioning the name Fulani. And that is what we have a problem. So we are pleading. I'm taking this opportunity to plead to the authorities, to the media, that I don't think that is fair. You see, because crime is a crime. So if Kwame commits crime, it's Kwame. If Isa commits crime, it's Isa. You understand? So that is where we have a problem.
Reporting for JoyNews.
Construction of a 100-bed hospital is underway in the West Mampusi municipality of the Northeast region just weeks after residents accused government of failing to deliver on its promise to put up that facility. Correspondent Ilyasu Tanko has more in this report.
Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in December last year cut short for the construction of the 100-bed hospital to facilitate the delivery of quality healthcare as part of the government promise to make healthcare accessible to every Ghanaian. The project was expected to be completed in December this year. However, 3 months to the completion date, contractors were yet to come to site, while the project site had been turned into a maize farm. The development led to some of the residents to accuse the government of deceit as they demanded information on the state of the project. However, few weeks after the residents' demand, contractors have arrived and are busy clearing the site for construction works to begin. Arumi Osomo Laki is a municipal chief executive.
The GMPC hospital, what actually delayed the project was not because of funding. There was restructuring. What came earlier, they have to restructure everything and pass it through the procurement process. As the structure keep on changing, then procurement process have to also change. That was one of the reasons. Secondly, because the government mentioned the 88 hospitals within the country, they wanted to use the GMPC hospital as a foundation, looking at the structures of the GMPC hospital, how they can restructure it so that all the hospitals in the 88 districts will all take that shape. At that time, they have to take their time and really visit all those places. I am the chairman of the project monitoring team. We have had a lot of discussion, but as we speak today, the contractor is back to site. Well, yes, the contractor is. You can go to the site now and see whether the contractor is there or not. We have finished all our procurement process. The funds that were supposed to be released to the contractor has also been released. So we have nothing to complain about. They are doing the site clearing now. And after the site clearing, in the next 2 weeks, when you go to the site, you actually know that the government is working. We cannot promise our people and fail them. The vice president is a native of Wadwale, is a native of Mampugu, and it is a duty on him to actually serve his people. And that is why he's serving them without any form of contradiction.
At the site, the maize crops were being leveled by a heavy machine. The owner of this farm had told Joy News he had not been compensated properly. A member of the project monitoring team at the office of the municipal chief executive, Salifu Mbandima Idrisu, however, discounted the farmer's claim.
This farmer, as I speak to you now, has been compensated. Compensation here means that the contractor and his financiers of this very project have gone into his effort here and have estimated that they give him a certain amount of money which will satisfy him. But you know, as human beings, no man is satisfied with whatever he or she has. So even though the man has been compensated or has been given something to relieve him of the pain that he's going through due to the destruction of his crops, he may still have issues or he may not be satisfied. But what we are all expecting is that we will all have a collaboration from him so that we have a peaceful execution of this project.
Salifu also denied allegations against government and advised all residents to support the contractor and his staff in the execution of the project.
For anybody to say, I'm repeating, that this project is a deceit, it was going to be used to buy votes, it cannot be true today, it cannot be true tomorrow. But what I can assure those people is that this project, as it's starting today, will be continuing till we finish it 100 over 100. And at the end, the government and Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Alayi Mahmoud Bawumia, will put those people to shame.
Ilyasu Tanko reporting for Joy News.
The Central Region Security Council has appealed to the IGP to step up security in parts of the region ahead of the 2020 elections. It follows what the council says as worrying developments in the Jumako, Enyan, Isiam and the Owutu Senya East constituencies. Correspondent Richard Kojo Nyako has more.
The regional minister, during the IGP's tour of the region, indicated to him areas that the IGP should intensify efforts in its operations to avert activities that are likely to breach the peace the region is enjoying. Kwamna Duncan speaks first on the Jumaku Enyan constituency.
In the registration period, you had macho men being brought in, and I won't blame one side. It's like everybody wants to have the bigger part of the turf, and so some amount of breach of the law was reported, and I cannot place my finger firmly on the fact that we're going to have it free or we're going to have it easy in the election period.
For the Owutu Senya East constituency that includes Kaswa, the head of the Regional Security Council says that constituency is already a hotbed of criminal activities, and the recent events during the registration gives him cause for worry.
It's become like a port where anything that relates to crime, you find it. Because the daily report that I get from the commander, most of the crime activities, that's where it comes from. So it's become like a ready enclave where if people with crime-minded agenda want to recruit, they're able to get them. Whichever, whether to knock down somebody, whether to hit at an opponent, and all of that. It's easy to recruit such individuals.
Of various duties, human and administrative errors do occur. We wish to state unequivocally that we have the ability and the competence to fix and resolve all the outstanding issues with the register. And we are doing so in an open, transparent, and accountable manner. Indeed, to date, a significant number of the issues identified at the start of the exhibition exercise have been resolved. We continue to work to reduce the deficit to the barest minimum. And we are confident that at the end of the process, we will bequeath Ghanaians with a register that reflects truth and light, a register that is credible, and a register that has integrity. This is the spirit and letter of the just ended exhibition exercise. I'd like to turn my attention to the exhibition statistics. In my last address, I emphasized that the Commission fully upholds the view that central to free, fair, transparent, and peaceful elections is credible and accurate data. To achieve this objective, it is vital that every eligible citizen is provided the opportunity not only to register as a voter, but to verify his or her details. As such, over the last 10 days, citizens have been afforded the opportunity to verify their details to ensure that they are first of all captured in the register, and secondly, that their details such as sex, age, name, etc. are accurate. The exhibition was largely successful as it afforded the Ghanaian the opportunity to verify their details. Additionally, it enabled the Commission to address the gaps in data and fix and resolve the issues along the way. It is important to emphasize that the omission of names in some polling stations was widespread. I did mention this before, but it's important that we emphasize on that again. It was not concentrated in particular regions or districts. I'm happy to state that 600, in terms of verification, 698,404 voters verified their details using the Commission's SMS short code. I'm happy to state that 698,404 voters verified their details using the Commission's SMS short code. Similarly, 7,271,498 voters verified their details physically at our exhibition centers. Combined, this translates to 7,969,887 persons who verified their voters during the who verified their details during the 2020 provisional voter exhibition exercise. This constitutes 46.9% of the total number of voters in the provisional register. I think I'd like to mention that in 2016, we had 45.6% of the voters verifying their voters as part of the exhibition exercise. The difference here is that with this particular exhibition, we had 46.9% verifying their details over a 10-day period. In 2016, we had 45.6% of the voters verifying their details over a 21-day period. I'll now turn my attention to the resolution of the errors in the register. As I outlined earlier, no registration process is foolproof. As such, some errors were unearthed during the exhibition process. We, however, worked throughout the process to resolve a majority of the issues on the provisional voters register. To date, the total number of persons reflected on the provisional voters register stands at 17,007,726 persons. This is an increase of some 44,420. If you look at the manual figures that were collated, and you look at the figures, what we have in the current register now, we have an increase of 44,420. However, we still have a deficit of some 7,515. I must emphasize that the deficit constitutes 0.0004% of the total provisional voters register. However, that is not to say that we are not committed to reducing the deficit to the barest minimum. We will not relent, but continue to work to ensure that everyone who registered is counted as part of the register. As a commission, we will spare no effort in ensuring that every vote counts. It is important to inform citizens about the reason for the initial shortfall. The registration of voters is done using the biometric registration devices at the polling stations. Thereafter, the data is then transmitted to the data center, where it undergoes the process of
Jane Mensah is chairperson of the Electoral Commission, coming to you live from the Commission's The Citizens Must Know series. There, she talked about the number of people who verified their details, summing it up to 7,969,887. And she goes on with the details of what has been done with the problems that came up, and that was what she was doing.